Super Dave here with another Super Dave review. Super Dave here with another exciting timed edition Mondo Masters of the Universe review. We looked at the regular edition and now it's time to look at the timed edition. The box is identical. Still got the Mondo exclusive here. Still says deluxe figure. So they didn't give us a special box for the timed edition. It's going to be the same. So a lot of this stuff you could go back and watch my other review of the regular Mondo 1/12 scale He-Man action figure to get the whole scoop. But I am going to show you what is different. So come on over here to Eternia again, and let's check out this Mondo 1/12 amazing He-Man from the 2000X series. And here we are on Eternia, getting ready to take a look at our timed released edition of He-Man. So let's look at what's different in his accessories. And you are looking at the main difference right now. The biggest difference is this head sculpt. Now, whether this is supposed to be like a He-Man with long hair, which is pretty much, would be convincing as far as the face, or if you want to go with that this is a King Grayskull head, that would work also. But it is a dynamic looking head sculpt, and when we look at it full throttle here, you can see it just has some beautiful texturing and shading. Got a ponytail swooshed to the side. Those, again, blue eyes. This time you've got kind of a grit teeth look. He's in battle or he's ready to fight someone. But there you have the main difference in this action figure. Now, the timed edition still comes with the regular stoic face, the 2000X, I would say, action figure / cartoon looking face. That's the one that looks most like him in my opinion as far as his hairstyle. And then another almost identical to the one that we have minus the long hair, and that is a gritting teeth looking He-Man in action with the desire to go after somebody. He's ready to fight. You can see how well his teeth is done in all of these, as well as this new one here. The teeth are just very well done. The harness on his chest still looks the same. Everything else is identical. It still comes with 3 sets of hands: the balled up fisted, the weapon holded hands, and the spread out hands. Still comes with the shield. Still comes with this really nice power sword that's inspired by 2000X, as well as the axe, the battle axe, inspired by the Cartoon Network series back in 2002, and it's looking amazing as well. Still comes with the black stand with a matte finish base, but this one also comes with one other special accessory that you got with the timed edition, and that is this base. And it is tiny. I mean, I wouldn't even consider this a diorama piece. This is just basically a base, and almost looks like it could be King Grayskull's tomb. It's got a little tombstone looking thing raised up there with the Grayskull, Castle Grayskull, I should say, looking symbol there on that, seemingly tombstone. You have some vines weaving in, some moss, even a little plant coming up alongside of the little tombstone here, as you can see. It wraps around with some grass and some stone, some algae. Just real nice. The design is super. I like it. The stone, the moss, like I said, the grass coming up along the edges. But yeah, we could pretend that this is King Grayskull's tomb. So that's really nice. Now, if you'll notice, there is a hole right there. So what you can do is you can unplug this from the base here. As you can see, the stand portion, and you can plug it in to this base so that you could have him in a pose using the stand here as well. So however you would like to do that, you could do it to make your He-Man stand up. But there you have it. That is the main differences. Now, the next part of the video is going to be the rest of the other video from my regular edition. But before we go into looking at this He-Man's articulation, we're going to take a look at this head sculpt's articulation. Alright, so bringing this He-Man on in here so you can take a look at this other head sculpt. I want to show you that this head is going to be able to look up about that much, which is not hindered too much by the hair, if at all, because this is a very soft rubber type plastic. And you still have kind of the same problem with that neck piece, kind of the throat part coming really close up to the chin, as you can see there. But I don't know, on this head, because of the way the hair does, you don't notice it as much. So if you get that head going really far back to look up like that, you don't really see it as bad as you did with the other edition. Then of course he's going to still be able to look all the way down. It is going to make that hair kind of stick out a little bit, which you can maybe push it down a little bit, but it's still going to do that. But you will still be able to get excellent head pivoting for expressions. Looking really good here. And so you get, you know, the full gamut of what you're going to want to do as far as everything is concerned with this head. So I mean, that's stellar. That is excellent. Really, really good. And this body is still going to be the same. You got the furry loincloth, you've got the belt here, you've got the fur around here. Still don't have a boot cut, but everything is still looking nice. I think he's looking really good. And what we'll do for the rest of the articulation is remove this chest armor so you can see it even better in motion. All right, let's go on to the articulation, and you're going to be able to see that he's going to be able to look up a really good amount, but it's kind of a weird, when he looks up, that looks very weird. I was trying to see if it would do like Storm Collectibles and bend the neck, but it doesn't. Not much. You might a little bit, but that's kind of weird. If you push that peg back, it brings the head on the chin almost to the Adam's apple, which is kind of just weird looking. So do wish they had done something a little different there. Now you can kind of pop it off that and look up there, but then it gives that lollipop look. So I don't know, you can look up with it, but it's going to be weird looking. If you look down, it's fine. It looks down a good amount there. So yeah, he's able to go down, and the soft part of the plastic goes down with it. It just doesn't seem to want to move. See, if you bend that, this part doesn't want to bend with it, even though it is soft. It just doesn't want to bend with it like we get sometime with Storm Collectible stuff. You can shift that neck forward so that the chin is away from the neck, and that way you can get some really good pivot, as you can see there. And he's going to be able to get some good posing abilities, but he's just not going to be able to look up very well without it looking strange. And see, that's looking up pretty good there. Let's give it an upward gaze without it looking so weird around his face. But that's that one. Now, of course, these arms do go full 360. He is going to be able to strike a full T-pose. And what I did want to show you is, even though you don't see like a little piece in here for a butterfly joint like you do with Storm Collectibles, it still moves. So you're going to be able to move forward, as you see there. You see there's a little gappage there. And you're going to be able to move back. Oops. Move the diaphragm a little bit. Move back. And so, yeah, it's going to move forwards and backwards and even up and down, which again, it's going to leave a little gap here. But you can kind of adjust that with the body and make that look better. But yeah, love those arms. They just look really good. The tricep, the bicep, the forearms, the hands, everything looks really solid, even better in my opinion than the way they look on their 1/6 scale, like 12 to 14 inch tall figures, in my opinion. All right, now again, as I showed you already, you have a double jointed elbow, and even with that girth, it still gets pretty good range. It looks like it's pretty much only 90 degrees, but it still gets pretty good range. I mean, look at that. Still looks good. You can bring that elbow pretty close, and you know, if he bends that fist there, wrist there, it looks pretty normal, pretty natural aesthetic there with the arm. So I think it gets really good range. I'm not too worried about that. He also has bicep swivel, but it's extremely tight, I think, because of the girth. I'm afraid it's going to pop off, but it'll go down that much. You can see it's putting pressure on it even there, and then it'll go around to that way. That's about as far as it's going to go on that side. Let me see if this side is as tight. Yeah, it's tight over on this side as well, but it's still going to move. It's just going to go, that's about as far as you're going to want to take it, and then about right there is as far as you're going to want to take it. So it don't spin all the way around, but it will follow without, you know, messing up the paint or the plastic on your shoulders. So, you know, it works pretty good. So yeah, definitely a good looking action figure as far as the arms and the shoulders. Now let's look at this diaphragm. He's going to be able to crunch forward that much. It is going to leave a big gap, and that's very much like what we see in Storm Collectibles. Then he's going to be able to bend back that much, which that's pretty good. I like the way the abs extend like in real life. You don't see that part of the 6-pack. 1, 2, 3, yes, like a 6, and then up counting this is like an 8-pack. You don't see that when he's in his regular stance, but when he bends back, it extends. I love that. That was very smart. I like that, you know, as far as his anatomy. And then, of course, it will turn like that, and it will also go side to side, so he gets a really good range out of this diaphragm. But then this is also a ball joint, so when you put that together, he's going to get a really good amount of bending forward. And then if you put it together, he's going to get even more bending back as well. So that looks really good. You're going to be able to get, you know, a really good amount of bending as far as that. And of course also, and it's going to gap some here, you can adjust it, but you're going to be able to bend a lot more as well using that. And then of course he'll also swivel at that waist ball joint also. So really good articulation. Bravo Mondo, really good. Now as far as his legs will do a complete split. Up inside there's no break here, thank the Lord, but he does have really nice rotation in that thigh that goes up inside of that ball joint. Really nice looking, and it's actually a separate part so that it will rotate. It's not just the ball joint, it's actually a separate piece going in that allows that rotation. So that's what you normally see with your very you know, I would say professional, high quality, deluxe style articulation in this day and time. Right, he gets double jointed knees. The knees look a little bit flimsy. I don't like the way that round part looks all up in there. It kind of looks like something didn't quite get designed to finish out. There's like a shine to that joint, or is that metal? I'm trying to decide if that's, I think that's just shiny plastic. It's hard to tell if that may be a metal piece that is combining on in here, and if it is, that's a good thing. But yeah, they could have done a little bit better job with the knees, in my opinion. But it is a double jointed knee, and it will go back about that far. And you get a, you know, when you rotate that, you're getting a good amount of range with that knee, and it does look pretty good, especially on that side when it's bent. And then when you bring everything out together, he does kick up a really good amount. And he will also get a stride to be able to go back a little bit too. So that looks good. Now I'm messing up the belt, so trying to, and this thing is shedding. I'm kind of concerned about that because it's coming out in clumps. As you can see, there's a big piece. That's like the second time I've seen that, so I don't want all my fur to fall out of my furry loincloth for this dude. But he's really cool. There's no drop down method or anything, but there is, I think, maybe not. Nope, there is no boot cut. I thought it looked like there was going to be a hinge there, a cut there, but it's not. I don't believe. Nope, it's no cut there. But let's see. So there's no way that's going to bend. But that foot, and there's not a lot of range to that foot. It only goes down that far. No tiptoe for sure. Goes up a good amount. And of course, with a forwards facing pin, you do get excellent rockers on both directions. And even there, when I'm doing that, if you notice there, it looks like almost like that plastic's going to break. So be very careful with these ankles. It just doesn't look like it's the highest quality of plastic there at that ankle, in my opinion. But it's just, I don't know, I would have felt a lot better if there had been some kind of turn so that when you're bending these feet a little bit or moving around, it would take the pressure off of it. Because even if they had done a boot cut, which there's no reason why they couldn't have done a boot cut, but it is not. There is no boot cut there. So that's a little disappointing. That would have helped not only with the articulation, but just taking a little pressure off that real seemingly flimsy, shiny again hinge at the ankle. But overall, it's still, it looks good. It just doesn't function as well as I would have liked to for this level and, expense of figure. I'm going to go ahead and put his harness back on right quick. Oh wow, just look how excellent he looks right there. Now let me just bring him on in a little closer here and show you what's going on, so you can see that he can achieve very easily a double sword or double axe handle grip. So that looks really good. Now I will mention one thing to you. I tried very hard when he was holding the sword to put the shield on like this on the back by, because let me show you what I'm talking about here. I'll remove the sword and the shield here. It's a little tricky, but I want to show you, this is the loop 1 and loop 2 for the axe. But because of the fact that the handle on the back of this shield is so close, it is impossible, no matter how you try to get the axe in there, to do it without it putting too much tension and feel like you're either going to break the handle or break the axe or even break the the chest armor pieces back here. It just doesn't want to work. I tried it both ways, like this and like this, and the angle just don't work. Now you could maneuver it, but I tried for about 5 minutes and it just would not go, and I really felt like I was going to break it. But having said that, you see this loop is for the sword. Now you can just have the sword in there like so, of course, and that looks good. You can see that. Or you can take that out and place the handle just above the sheath part, and because your sword is so thin, it will go right through the handle and the sheath part and hold both the sword and the shield beautifully. And that just looks really good, and I like that. I like that a lot. So you can see that works. And you can also see that I put more of the 2000X looking, in my opinion, head on there, and as far as the hairstyle and everything, and that looks really good. I like that. Looks really cool. So if you like that, you can definitely use that head instead of the other one. Now the other one still, even with the hairstyle that it has, it doesn't look quite as much 2000X, but if you just want a stoic He-Man face, it's fine. But this one just looks more 2000X He-Man to me, at least the action figure. And the articulation is not affected at all. It's going to be identical for all of these figures, all of these head sculpts, I should say. And of course, there's his angry one. We can show you right quick. Just pop this one off. It's kind of a small place there for the ball joint to go in. It's kind of unusual for this size figure, but anyway, it's fine. It works. But there's the angry head, as you can see there, and he's going to be able to look up. Still going to have that weird throat issue. He's going to be able to look down all the way. Looks cool. Get some good expressions, expressiveness. And you can really put those gauntlets anywhere you want to really be able to cover up the joints too. So that's good. That looks neat. I've got that curved over a little bit more than it needs to be. But there you go. That show you how everything looks there. So it looks really good. This is just a beautiful He-Man. Really looks great. And like I said, the only thing I really want to criticize, other than the fact that the faces are not my favorite, that's me, but also this shiny shoulder joint hinge. But other than that, I think, and the ankles, not very keen on the ankles, the shine and the flimsiness of it. But other than that, I really feel like that this He-Man deserves a 9 out of 10. I think that the aesthetic and the accessories and the real, soft goods fur around the boots and around his loincloth, and just the accessories, how they look and are designed, and his quality, and especially his articulation, it just really top notch. I love it. And now let's look at some comparisons. And here is our 2000X Mondo 1/12 He-Man alongside of King Grayskull. Or, we can say this is the same exact figure, but it does look like, and I don't know that it's not the angle, but it does make or give the illusion that this one's a little taller than this one because of the head sculpt. I guess it's the hair, but yeah, it definitely looks a little bit more. This timed edition looks a little taller. So bringing out the tape measure here, we're going to measure him from the bottom of his foot to the top of his head, and he measures in exactly at 7 3/8 inches tall. And our other He-Man here with this head measures in exactly 7 1/4 inches. So yeah, this head does add just a little bit of height to the action figure, just by a little bit. But you can definitely see that everything else is identical from head to toe. Everything is the same. He is looking really good. And here's a little peek of him from behind, so you can see what he looks like with the regular hair and head versus the long hair, ponytail, and head. But you can see everything else is identical. Looking cool. And if you were to have an extra King Grayskull harness with pauldrons and cape that came from Mattel Creations Club Grayskull of exclusive, like I do, I got 2 of them here. So I've got one that has the cape, and I went ahead and took it off and put it on this 2000X with this, I would say, King Grayskull head, and it works. The cape's a little short, of course, because he's a lot taller, but you could definitely make it work. Now, it does not buckle in the back, but you can use some tacky and just keep it wrapped around him, and it still works. Looks cool, huh? King Grayskull, complete with his little tombstone. He's got a plot ready. And here is our timed edition He-Man next to our regular 2000X He-Man body, but I have put on the Stranger Things Origins harness and a vintage classics style head. And you can see how they look here. He's got his traditional sword back there sheathed. Still got the 2000X fanny pack and belt, but everything else pretty much looks like He-Man. The gauntlets look good. So you could definitely do this. And look how nice, and I pointed this out in the regular edition as well, but just look how nice that head and the skin tone matches this new figure. Just really stellar. Awesome. Isn't that cool? So you could definitely have an ultimate He-Man that I would say even rivals classics, with a real furry loincloth and the fur around his boots and everything. Use this head and voila, you've got it made. And taking off the King Grayskull head, there you have the 2000X He-Man alongside of your more traditional He-Man. So you can take a look at how that looks here. Looking cool. Here is our 2000X He-Man alongside of some Origins cartoon collection 2000X Prince Adam there. And then there's the Origins cartoon collection 2000X He-Man. And as I said about these, I mean, I don't necessarily think they captured it either. You can go back and look at my review of these. But yeah, I mean, kind of did here. But I think the toy line maybe captured it a little better than even this back in that time. Then here's the anniversary 5-pack, I think it was 5, of He-Man that came with the 2000X, kind of the squatty looking Origins original body. And you can see his head looks a little bit more like the vintage than the 2000X cartoon. But he does sport that correct chest symbol for the chest armor, just like our Mondo 2000X He-Man here. But yep, there is the smaller He-Man figures that I have that have like the 2000X head. And here is our Revolution Battle Armor He-Man. There he is with the head that he came with, wearing the battle armor. And then this is him with the regular armor with a Hordak MX head sculpt that I think looks a lot better. This is actually inspired by the second deluxe 1/6 scale Mondo He-Man that he came with that kind of head that had a face that looked very much like that, and Hordak MX kind of duplicated the look of that face in this 1/12 scale so that it would fit and match the skin tone of this Revolution He-Man body by Masterverse. And I still say that this is one of the most beautiful looking He-Man figures right here, with his sword, his battle axe. Whether you put on the battle armor or the regular armor, still looks awesome, especially with this Hordak MX head sculpt. And I think that this head looks even better than the one that we get with this Mondo 1/12 scale 2000X He-Man. Of course, again, I know they were going for the look of the, I'm not sure, action figure or the cartoon. But either way, I'm just not as fond of this face as I've been of others. I mean, I don't know, for this level, I just feel like, you know, I've had people say before when I've bragged on Hordak MX head sculpts, they say, well, for a, you know, $40 head, it should look better than a $20 figure head. But I'm sorry, this was a $200 figure, and I would expect the head to be out of the park good then, if you use that logic. But again, you know, his attention to detail and just the look, the paint job that he does on these heads are, you know, superior even to Mondo in this sense, at least here. Now the deluxe Mondo 1/6 scale was awesome, but you know, anyway, Mattel doesn't get it right most of the time when it comes to the He-Man face, in my opinion. This is not a bad face, it just doesn't look like He-Man to me. I don't know. Oh, and a gloppy looking hair too, but yeah, overall, you know, this would be my favorite head. This would definitely be a distant second compared to this one, not at all. But anyway, enough of my rambling about heads, but you definitely can't say that this body isn't awesome, and it's, you know, full scope of accessories, aesthetic, everything is looking great about this He-Man. And here's our 2000X Mondo He-Man, and I have all of his gear on his back, his shield, his axe, and his power sword, and yes, they all fit at one time, and that's good to know. I went ahead and put back on that stoic face head there, and got him more of a relaxed posture. But there he is beside our Frazetta Girls Conan, which is so cool, designed, or I should say inspired by the painting and artwork of Frank Frazetta. And my favorite Conan figure by far. He's just awesome, and you can see how he looks next to this He-Man. Fits in, I think, really good, and has the realism that matches up. Now the face may be off a little bit as far as the realism, because this Conan has a very realistic face compared to this, in my opinion. Does have a little bit more of a toy / cartoon look to it. But and here's another realistic figure, our Warrior with Ball and Chain, which this is designed and put out by Savage Crucible, but it is also inspired by Frank Frazetta's artwork. So you have these looking, I think, very good next to each other. And here's our 2000X He-Man by Mondo Deluxe figure next to a Masterverse Duncan Man-at-Arms, New Eternia Man-at-Arms, but that is a Hordak MX head that was designed and inspired by the Revelation Netflix series. And then here is our New Eternia Tila body with a 2000X custom Hordak MX Tila head. And you can see it's got that exaggerated ponytail and just kind of the look of what we saw with that particular variation of Tila from the 2000X line. So I've got Duncan on order, the 2000X style Man-at-Arms / Duncan that will match this He-Man perfectly in scale and in size and everything, but just letting you see what he looks like beside these Masterverse figures, and they look really good. Especially this Tila, I think she looks really good next to He-Man. And here's our 2000X Mondo He-Man next to Krager the Shunned. Also a Savage Crucible figure. And then another Savage Crucible figure is Who-Man. That's right, Who-Man. And he is looking awesome. He's one of my favorite figures in the Barbarian line. And yeah, they're definitely on the smaller side. They have a little bit more shiny skin. Unless, of course, you match it up to that shiny little hinge that I hate over on his shoulder. But other than that, I like the matte finish on this He-Man. It gives a more of a natural skin look to this Mondo He-Man. And you know, you could still pair him up with these guys if you really wanted to, but he is definitely bulkier and bigger and broader and more muscular, and has a little bit more of a realistic body as far as the skin tone and just overall look. But then again, these guys have more realistic faces. And here's our Heroic Signatures Conan. Here he is wearing the helmet with the angry face, with his cloak on, which looks really cool on him, I think, his boots and everything. And then here's the exact same Conan without the shirt and with more of a stoic face. And he is definitely cool. He's not as cool as the Frank Frazetta Conan, in my opinion. But he's definitely cool, and I like him a lot. And yeah, I think you could put him alongside of this He-Man. I mean, they're both big and broad and have a similar, you know, theme. There again, He-Man here's face is not as realistic looking, and not even his weapons are as realistic looking, because these are very realistic weapons. But you know, you could still pretend and play with these together if you wanted to. And here is our Mondo 2000X He-Man next to Atlas by Mythic Legions, and the Heroic Warrior herself here by Mythic Legions, which is a fairly new figure that I picked up, and she is so cool looking. Her head is giant though, which that's been a complaint by others, but I think they actually look pretty good together. The matte paint of the skin looks very similar in comparison here, and I like this one, this female's bulk and muscularity on this unique Mythic Legion figure. the heroic warrior, and she's just looking cool. I like the little bracelet things. I got one around her bicep, one around her wrist. You can put them different places. I like her sword. But yeah, they actually look good together here. Atlas looks a little bit on the short and puny side next to this He-Man, but you know, it can still work. Cowabunga, dude. And just in case you are a Turtles fan, especially the Mitai Toys Turtles, which are the best looking 1/12 scale Turtles on the market today, in my humble opinion. Here they all are, chilling with our Mondo He-Man. And he is so cool looking, as well as these turtles. They have a little bit too much shine, which I'm thinking about. I have ordered another set on Big Bad Toy Store, and when they come in, I'm expecting to possibly spray one of these sets of turtles down with a matte finish and see how that makes them look, because they're just very shiny compared to some of my other action figures, and it does kind of contrast a little bit, especially when you have a lot of lighting. But they are awesome nonetheless. And He-Man he's pretty much a Turtles fan, especially since Mattel mixed, you know, the Masters of the Universe cross Turtles, the Turtles of Grayskull and all that good stuff. But it's funny. But here they are. Now here is our Masterverse Battle Cat, and I must say this He-Man fits on this Battle Cat better than any He-Man I've ever had. He really looks good on there. He just fits on there like a glove. And a lot of these He-Man figures, I don't know, the way their torso and the way their legs do, it just was always awkward. But yeah, he sits down in there really nicely, I think. I really like that. I was never a fan of the 2000X Battle Cat. I'm not even going to try that. Ugh, I just didn't like it. But anyway, I like the Revolution Battle Cat. Like the helmet. Some people didn't. But yeah, I think overall this looks really good. This looks really good to me. I like this. Looks stellar. He just looks very comfortable and very stylish up there. Looks, you know, like he belongs. Like he fits. Cool. And here's our new 2000X Mondo style He-Man on the new Chronicles Battle Cat. And so, I don't know, he may look a little big on him, but it doesn't look bad. I think he looks alright. He, you know, I don't know, it just seems like he may be a tad big as far as the He-Man being on this Battle Cat, because the Battle Cat is just a little bit more slender, a little bit more streamlined than the Masterverse version. But overall, I feel like that if this is the only Battle Cat you have, you could still, you know, fudge it. You could still make it work. And it looks good, for sure. Everything fits really nicely. The fact that this has a slender saddle, slender torso for a cat actually really bodes well for figures to be able to ride on top better than what we saw even with Classics Battle Cat, or even with the Masterverse, especially the Masterverse. He had kind of a, I don't know, big rib cage, and it made the, you know, legs just really have to spread out. But this actually looks more natural in seating. And so, I don't know, I don't really think that it's too big. I think it actually looks pretty good, especially from this angle here. I think this Battle Cat just has really good dimensions, even for this size, this bulk of He-Man. Because this He-Man's a lot bigger than the movie He-Man, Chronicles He-Man. But I think it works. From the front, it almost looks too big, but on the side, look at that. It looks like it's a perfect fit. The scale really works good. So I like it. I think that works really nice. And he hangs on really good too. And thank you so much for joining us for this Super Dave review. It has been loads of fun taking a look at this awesome Mondo 1/12 scale 2000X He-Man that allows you to be King Grayskull or He-Man, and has an extra base and a few other tricks. But yeah, this is looking great, and we look forward to seeing you next time. Please like, subscribe, and comment if you have something to say, and we'll look forward to seeing you again. Be blessed. Here's some photos in the photo gallery.